Very much in Washington Parish, a popular local rapper was killed and another man injured in a shooting in Bogalusa.
Sources tell us the motive for the shooting was retaliation. Police have identified the victim as Javarius Scott, who goes by the stage name JayDaYoungan. The second victim was one of Scott's family members. He is in the hospital in stable condition.
Developing tonight, a rapper is dead after a double shooting in Bogalusa. Investigators have spent the past 24 hours trying to put all the pieces together in a double shooting there. There were 3 separate shooting scenes. And as Mike McDaniel explains, authorities believe they're all connected and that they're part of a bigger problem.
There would be no stone left unturned until we found out who took him.
On July 26, 2022, JayDaYoungan posted a snippet during his house arrest after being released from prison a month ago. The post, which featured his son, was captioned, "This house arrest stuff is undefeated." And in the very beginning of the snippet, he talks about his ops. Little did we know that the next 24 hours were going to be very eventful for the Louisiana-born rapper. Born Javarius Scott in Bogalusa, Louisiana on July 15, 1998, JayDaYoungan emerged from the streets with the raw talent that resonated with many. NBA young boy, Fulio. Reports of feuds with rival artists and internal conflicts within his crew started to gain attention. He popularly had beef with rappers like NBA young boy and Fulio. As JayDaYoungan's fame grew, so did the risk he faced. He was no stranger to legal issues. On June 16, 2022, Scott pleaded guilty to possession of a firearm while under indictment or felony charges and was sentenced to time served, as well as 1 year supervised release. He was also fined $5,500 and subject to a $100 mandatory special assessment fee. This legal situation is directly correlated with the house arrest that was referenced in the earlier mentioned Instagram post. It led to the house arrest. It was the night of July 27, 2022, in Bogalusa, Louisiana, when tragedy struck. JayDaYoungan was spending time with his father, Kenyatta Scott, on the front lawn of their home. The arrival of a black truck hauling armed gunmen shattered the peace of the evening. JayDaYoungan and his father, Kenyatta Scott Sr. As the 3 gunmen stepped out of the truck, chaos ensued. JayDaYoungan and his father attempted to flee to the house for safety, but 2 more assailants emerged from the side of the house. Gunfire erupted, filling the night air with a fatal symphony of viciousness. The hail of bullets left JayDaYoungan critically wounded, with multiple gunshot wounds. His father, Kenyatta Scott, bravely fought back, returning fire in an act of self-defense. The scene was a tableau of horror, a stark reminder of the brutal reality that can lurk beneath fame. Scott was shot at least 8 times and succumbed at a local Bogalusa hospital not far from the scene of the shooting. Scott Sr. was shot twice in the arm and was in stable condition. As news of the shooting spread, shockwaves reverberated through the hip-hop community and beyond. Investigators launched a painstaking journey to uncover the truth. Interviews with witnesses, surveillance footage analysis, and social media scrutiny painted a portrait of a brewing conflict that had spiraled out of control. The puzzle pieces began to fall into place. The backdrop of rivalries, misunderstandings, and personal vendettas formed a complex mosaic of motives. The truth behind JayDaYoungan's final hours was a labyrinthine journey, where the destination would be a haunting revelation. Some even argued that his father was the target of the shooting, as Kenyatta Scott Sr. is also no stranger to legal disputes. Further insight into the circumstances surrounding the shooting remained elusive in the immediate aftermath. Law enforcement refrained from disclosing any apprehensions or arrests linked to the case. Adding to the turmoil of the situation, reports surfaced of an additional shooting incident shortly following JayDaYoungan's tragic passing. Police said while working a chaotic scene at the hospital and working at the scene of the incident on Superior Avenue, another shooting unfolded in the 800 block of Marshall Richardson Road. A vehicle became the target of gunfire around 7 p.m. on the same evening, prompting authorities to investigate a possible connection. Officers found the vehicle with bullet holes in it. Thankfully, no injuries were reported in that instance, leaving investigators without concrete evidence to definitively establish a link between the two occurrences, though suspects were identified for this shooting, unlike JayDaYoungan's case.
A few minutes later, while my officers are investigating this scene, we had a call of another shooting across town. Later in the night, a few hours later, we just had a third shooting where a house was shot up that we also believe to be related.
Police say no one was hurt during the other two shootings.
There were also reports of further shootings, who the police thought to be related to JayDaYoungan's homicide and part of a wider societal issue.
It's sad. This is Bogalusa. It's a small community.
Police Chief Kendall Bullen says while on the scene, there was a second shooting just minutes away. An SUV was shot up near the intersection of Marshall, Richardson, and Ott Roads.
In the wake of the shooting, law enforcement made strides in their investigation. Arrests were made, shedding light on the motives behind the attack. As court proceedings unfolded, a clearer understanding emerged of the factors that fueled the tragic event. Despite all this, the hit has still not been solved. In the aftermath of the tragedy, the hip-hop community mourned the loss of JayDaYoungan. Candlelight vigils illuminated the night as fans, peers, and artists paid tribute to the fallen star. His music, once a soundtrack of struggle, took on new layers of meaning as listeners grappled with the weight of his untimely departure. On August 7th, 2022, Scott was laid to rest. His funeral was held in the auditorium of his former high school in Bogalusa. Among those in attendance were notable artists Boosie Badass and Youngin Ace. Scott's life and his goals of owning a record label were cut short. Boosie Badass was one of the first rappers to publicly comment on JayDaYoungan's passing. Youngin Ace's relationship with JayDaYoungan was quite a roller coaster ride. The Florida native experienced both highs and lows in his bond with the 23-island rapper, and sadly, it seemed like things were strained between them when JayDaYoungan passed away. He expressed his deep regrets with heartfelt sincerity in his Instagram tribute. Also, it's important to note that not all responses to JayDaYoungan's passing were positive. Earlier, we talked about Julio Fulio, and shockingly, he turned to Instagram to make light of JayDaYoungan's passing. In a rather distasteful post, he penned, "Rest in peace, JayDaYoungan. You'll be missed, LOL." And in another post, he openly revealed that he's still holding on to a grudge against the late rapper. JayDaYoungan's legacy served as a stark reminder that fame and success can be fragile, and the price of a life lived in the spotlight can be heartbreakingly high. His fans remember him as a young artist who channeled his life experiences into his music, even as the world around him teetered on the edge of chaos. JayDaYoungan's family and friends found solace in remembering his ambition, aspirations, and the challenges he navigated in pursuit of his dreams. Scott's sister, Kenya, posted a series of messages and photos of them together. "Why did y'all do this to my brother, to my baby?" she posted on Instagram. "I never in a million years would have thought this." JayDaYoungan's grandfather, L.C. Jefferson, speaking to WSU News, called the homicide a senseless one.
It's sad that at his young age, just when he was really getting things right the way that they should be, that he had to be taken away, and for what reason? Because someone was jealous of him?
His life story was a testament to the complex realities faced by young artists who often wrestle with fame, personal demons, and external pressures. His mother, still shook about the tragic situation, confirmed his last words. They were, "I love you, Mom. I'm not going to make it." She also wrote a heartfelt message to her son's killers. Experts in the industry weighed in, highlighting the broader issue of viciousness, rivalry, and conflict within the hip-hop world. They emphasized the importance of artists and their team prioritizing safety, communication, and community support to prevent further tragedies. JayDaYoungan's legacy affected the community greatly.
He was one of the most respectful young men I've ever met. I have never known him to be disrespectful to an adult, and we're so proud of him, what he was able to do with his life.
Well, this morning, hundreds of people showed up to pay their final respects to rapper and Louisiana local Javarius Scott. Scott, who is professionally known as JayDaYoungan, was shot along with his father outside their home in Bogalusa last month. Today, friends, family, and even fellow musicians, they gathered to say goodbye to the young rapper who meant a lot to the community.
He's been in here often. Mindy West, the manager of the Bogalusa gas station, said, speaking to Fox 8 News, he was never rude or anything when he came in here. He was really friendly. He's really popular out this way for sure. When asked how this will affect the community, West said, "Oh, it's gonna be bad." It also sparked community initiatives and awareness campaigns aimed at addressing the root cause of viciousness and providing a safety net for young artists navigating the challenges of fame. The tragedy served as a catalyst for change, uniting stakeholders to create a safer environment for the next generation. The final hours of JayDaYoungan stands as a stark reminder that behind the glamour of the stage lies a complex web of challenges and risk. As we piece together the events leading to his untimely passing, let us not forget the young man who sought to express his truth through music. His story serves as a haunting cautionary tale and a call for reflection and action within the world of hip-hop. Rest in peace, JayDaYoungan.